Hey, this is Marlene Michel, and we have gotten to know her in the last month, and I'm going to let her just tell us a little bit about herself.
Yes, hello, Culpeper Baptist Church. As Pastor Dan said, my name is Marlene Michel, and I am currently in Mount Washington, Kentucky. So about a good amount of hours away from Virginia. But I mean, I would say my story really starts with God putting it on my mom's heart to look for a church that would really be where she could find a home away from home. She moved from Haiti, when she was 21 to America, and she grew up just being in the church and visiting a church with her aunt that really spoke to just I would say the joy, because her family just went through a lot of things, losing her mom at a young age. And so all of that came to when my mom got married to my dad. It took them about 3 years to have me and my twin brother. And so I just all my life I would say, while I am my mom and my dad's child, like God's really shown, that he's also my father in so many ways. And so yeah.
All right, and tell us where you're a student.
Yeah, I'm a student at Berea College, and Berea, Berea. And I spell it out because when I first heard it, I didn't spell it right on Google search. But that's a blessing within itself. It's based in Berea, Kentucky, and it's a tuition promise school. So that means every student who's admitted, which is about 1,600 of us, pays no tuition. And an incredible blessing.
All right, tell us why you wanted to go to the Passion Conference.
I wanted to go to the Passion Conference. Really, it was a combination of many things. The biggest reason was I knew this was going to be a space where other students, 18 through 25-year olds would be, and just another place to like get fueled up for a year ahead. And even though it was only like the couple of first days of a new year, I got so much out of it that I already felt like, when's the next time I can go to Passion? Like, but it won't be for another whole year. And so a lot of the people that I follow on social media, like Georgia Brown, MMA Jenkins, Sadie Robertson, these names that you hear, in a lot of ways, people consider them influencers, but to themselves, they just call themselves daughters of God. But in watching their lives, the fruit was evident, and I just wanted to be connected to something as great as Passion to, get my gas tank full for the year.
And so tell us how you found us and Culpeper Baptist.
Yeah. So I found you on my pursuit of trying to get to Passion 2022. So what happened is, so with everyone who registered for Passion, they basically put you in a group meet for your certain like caliber. So because I registered and I was party of one, I was put into this group meet with thousands of other young people. And what happened, so the timeline of it is I registered for the Passion Conference June of 2021, because government was giving college students a lot of money, and I was like, let me hop on this real quick. And so I registered, but I registered in faith. I was like, you know what, it's in Atlanta, Georgia. I know some people from school who live in Georgia. Maybe during the holidays something will work out. Well, then fast forward to October of 2021, I'm at a conference in Tennessee for InterVarsity, and I meet India. She's a InterVarsity staff member, 24 years old, real cool, loved her style. We got to talking, and she's like, yeah, I'm from Georgia, like near Atlanta, Georgia. And I was like, hold up. And then it's like Holy Spirit used that encounter. We didn't even talk that much during the conference. Like we met because we were taking a group photo. And I said, so are you going to Passion 2022? At the time, she wasn't going, but she knew about Passion. And so she was like, well, if you need a place to stay, you can stay with me. And so we exchanged numbers, and on my phone, I have her number saved as India, Atlanta. But then fast forward to, time is coming. It's November, it's December, and I still don't know how I'm getting the Passion, but me and her are still in contact. And so that's when she's like, hey, why don't you try to, I'll work on my end. But she said, look for a place like other Kentucky people or schools that are also going to Passion. And I tell you, Pastor Dan, I was like, okay, I went on Google, I said Passion 22 conference, Kentucky schools going, like groups going to Passion. And on that Google search, I landed on y'all's page, and it was like a blog post that said 30, I think it said 34, it either said 32, 34 students, young adults going to Passion Conference. And I'm like super excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the group I need. And so I scroll to the bottom and I'm like, okay, God, please say that they're from Kentucky. And when I looked, it said Virginia. And I was like, all right, well, I didn't want to let that be my final stop. I just kept believing. And so I said, let me just call. I left a mess. So I talked to the front desk, sister, and she was so sweet. And
you talked to Joyce. Yeah,
I talked to Joyce, and she then, forwarded me to your voicemail, and all of it was in faith. I was like, it's close to the holidays. If Pastor don't hear from me, it's okay. Like, God, at this point, I was just like, let it be. So that's how I found you all. And yeah.
that is such a great story. All right. Tell us, I know there's a lot that happened in Passion for our group and certainly for 50-some thousand people that were there. Tell us one thing that happened for you. What was meaningful to you? What's the takeaway?
Man, there were so many, like you said, Pastor Dan, to try to culminate Passion in like one thing. I mean, but really, I think the part of all of Passion that stood out to me, it was like I could feel God was speaking this over me it was the worship session on day 2, during Carrie Job and Cody Carnes when they were singing. And like, mind you, I came in a Passion with like really a lot of like prayer requests, like my mom's healing, like just complete total healing from breast cancer, and my brother's schooling, and God really blessing my dad financially, because he has my dad, it's my dad, stepmom, and my siblings. And so, and even for me, clarity on direction for, next steps. And during the worship, we were singing the blessing, and that's when it hit me. And while we were singing the blessing, it was like the song is really about, you receiving a blessing, and I felt impressed to, in blessing others. And while I was doing that, like, God started just ministering to me, and he was just saying, like, basically, like, stop, focusing on trying to be liked by everybody or everyone, and know and understand that you are already loved by God. And it was like, that was confirmed to me when Ben Stewart talked right after the worship and said, he was talking about how we go through a rabbit hole of, we have emotions, and we should be like David, where we question in prayer. And he said, yeah, you're nervous about speaking. And then he was questioning himself. And then he said, but why should their approval matter? You're already approved. That comes from God. And it just really, to me, solidified what Sadie Robertson and so many people talked about when it comes to identity, and how it's found in, it's not really about answering the question of who are you, who am I, like, or about yourself, but it's about who God is. And the more you know who God is, he reveals to you how he's like uniquely created you. And so it's just, to me, it was a full circle, like from Hakuna Matata, like Simba looking at the water and seeing his father's face, to just the like Lion King horizon that Maverick City had during their performance. I was just, and then Louis Gigolo talking about his dad's Chick-fil-A logo being right under him while he's talking to 50,000 plus students. Like, I got chills thinking about how God used 2 days to do a full circle, literally, of his goodness and his faithfulness. And the call that Christine Kane said to all of us, to me, like, combined everything from like refusing to, like, basically not focus so much on people liking you, but really, what has God called you to do? And when you know who you are in God, when he calls you, like he called Joshua, Caleb, and the 10 other, men that we don't even know, like that in Numbers 13, like, when he calls you, are you willing to accept that call? Because by accepting it in obedience, like, that is going to change your, like, the legacy, and it's going to impact your children's children, which is the blessing. So yeah.
You graduate in May. Kind of tell us what you think is next in your life.
Yes, Pastor Dan. So next in my life, and I find it so fitting that I just finished talking to my mentor, who's a retired physician of 29 years. But after our conversation, I just have more, I would say, because I went into it praying and saying, God, please give me like clarity. What do you want me to do next? And I just feel peace about I'm graduating in May of this year. And so I'm going to be taking 2 years between graduating from college and starting medical school. And so within those 2 years, I plan on traveling. Like I want to travel each continent, like in some facet. I want to visit Haiti, but mainly as it relates to preparing for becoming a physician, a doctor. I'll be doing like becoming a medical scribe. So scribing with different physicians in different, I would say specialties. So from pediatrics, internal medicine, family medicine. So I plan to do that. Now, they don't make much, but they make something. And so I want to, I want to do that. And while I'm doing that, I plan to take the medical college admissions test, so the MCAT, in spring of 2023, and apply for medical school in, spring, summer time, and hopefully start medical school 2024. And so I will say God's just has a beautiful way of navigating us, because I really wanted to be able to say, I'm only going to take 1 year gap year and start medical school. I didn't even want that. I wanted to be able to just graduate college and start medical school in the fall. But I think that I need, time to really, I think, be with God even in a more intimate space. The past 4 years at college, I still stayed faithful to him by God's grace, and, met a Christian community and all of those things. And I think that he wants to really meet with me and, really show me what he, hear from him. And so that's the next steps. Pastor
All right. All right. Well, in your travels, we want Culpeper Baptist Church to be somewhere on those travels.
Yes, Culpeper. I will. Yeah, your young people, Augusta, Alexis, Quinlan. Okay, the guys' names. Oh my goodness. I met 2 of them. Daniel, no. What were their
I'm trying to
names?
remember who was in that group now.
There was 5 of them. But
yeah.
I remember the 3 girls' names.
It was Julian. Julian was there with us.
Yeah.
And oh shoot. All right.
He was like the one that said I think military or
it was Daniel. Sorry.
It was Daniel.
Daniel.
Oh, okay,
Daniel, Julian, Augusta, Quinn. Yeah.
And Alexis. Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
man, that's awesome.
Well, Marlene, we'll stay in touch and keep your story in front of our church. But it's
Great.
Just been so delightful to meet you and have you a part of Passion and kind of what we were doing. So
yes.
so this is a lot of fun.